Greetings everyone, MK Mueller here today with our next miracle for our Miracles Guaranteed course. And I'm excited that today I get to talk about the quilt and the question. There's one very, very powerful question that readers of my 8 to Great book are familiar with, people who are certified as 8 to Great life coaches are familiar with, but you may not be. So this is a question that can absolutely change not just your life, but so many other lives. So here we go. It all starts with my choir member, Julie. I was directing a choir, and she came up to me one day after our service and said, I hear that you do something besides direct choirs. And I said, yes, I do. And she said, so you're a speaker and a writer? And I said, yes. And she said, oh, I'd love to hear you speak sometime. And I said, well, I'd love to have you hear me speak. So I happen to be going this Saturday to a speaking engagement 3.5 hours away, and I would love some company. Would you like to join me? And she said, sure. So that was fun. So we started on our journey that day, and I turned to her, about a half an hour into the trip, and I said, so Julie, what's one of your dreams? That's the question. And it always helps to use the number one. What is one of your dreams? And she turned to me and looked at me funny, and then she said, I don't want to tell you. And I said, why is that? And she said, oh, it's too embarrassing. I said, oh, Julie, I've been doing this for years. I've heard them all. So, we've got 3.5 hours. I'm going to get it out of you one way or the other, so you might as well share it. She said, I want to start my own business. And I said, why is that embarrassing? She said, because I teach business at Creighton University. I've taught business at Creighton for over 27 years. I should have done this 27 years ago. And I said, oh, my. In 8 to Great, we say, don't should on yourself, don't should on other people. It's all good. We can find you a business today. And she said, what? And I said, that's what we'll do. We'll find you a business today. She said, I've been looking for 27 years, and you think you're going to find one in 24 hours? And I said, I don't think it. I believe it, which is so much stronger. So we went on to other topics of the conversation. After the talk that day, which went just magnificently, a woman came up to me, so grateful for the message that I had shared, and said, oh my gosh, thank you. And I can't help but stare at this scarf around her neck. It was a circle. It was as though you'd taken a long, rectangular scarf and twisted it and then sewn it together in a circle and just put it over your neck. And I said, oh, that is such a cool scarf. It never hangs crooked. You just throw it over your head. Oh my gosh. Do you remember where you got it? And she said, oh, I think it was a craft fair years ago. And I said, oh, is there like a label on it maybe? Because I would love to find where more of those are. And she said, oh, and we took it off, no label. And she said, I just want to give this to you as a thank you for your message today. Please take it as my gift. And I learned a long time ago to accept all gifts. Oh, yes, it's a wonderful way to live. And so I said, yes, I would love to accept this gift. And so on the way home, Julie's looking at it, and she said, I could sew these for you. If you give me your scarves, I could sew these for you. And by the time we were halfway through the trip home, she had a name for her new business, Roundabout Scarves. And this was just at the beginning of the internet, so nobody really knew much about internet marketing, but she tried a little with roundaboutscarves.com, but I don't even think the website's up anymore. But for a while, for a few years, she did. She made all of my scarves, I must have had 20, into roundabout scarves, and I bought those from her, and then she turned, hundreds of people came to her, and then we started going to art fairs and craft fairs together, and we'd help sell her roundabout scarves, and they were very popular. But, it just kind of fizzled and died, and she ended up with lots more dreams after that one. By the way, today they're called infinity scarves, and someone was evidently a lot better at marketing than we were. But about 3 months after, almost all the way home, she asked me one more question, and she said, you're a life coach, so why don't you ask people what their problems are? And I said, oh, that's because we say in 8 to Great, what you think about, you bring about. And so we don't want to ask about problems, we ask about dreams. And she said, well, can I tell you my problem anyway? And I said, sure. And she said, I play solitaire online. I said, why is that a problem? I play about 200 games a day. Yeah. She wasn't doing the cooking, her husband was. She wasn't doing the cleaning, the housekeeper was. She wasn't doing the yard work, her teenage boys were. She would basically work and come home and eat and get on the computer and go to bed. Severe depression. Well, dear hearts, good news. The depression lifted that day. And a few months later, she shared this with me. Is this incredible or what? Huh? This incredible quilt, right? She calls it shutter release. And she said, that day that you asked me what my dream was, it was like the shutter of a camera was opened and the light got in. And I said, ooh, I like that. I also see another meaning. That day when you opened the shutter of the camera, the light got out. Because that's what I believed happened with you, Julie. This light was in you all along. It just got out that day. So, dear hearts, there's the question. What is one of your dreams? May you have as much fun with it, changing lives, as I have.